Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts. Welcome to a review on my channel. Yes, it's been quite some time since I've done a review on the channel, but I wanted to talk about this show because I've seen a lot of people talking about it online, doing reviews, and I finished watching it this morning and I want to talk about it even though it's been out for a couple weeks. Regardless, I want to talk about it. Disenchantment. So, when I first heard about this show, I'm like, okay, this will be interesting because it's from the creator of The Simpsons and Futurama. I like both those shows. I personally like Futurama more than The Simpsons, but beside the point, I was excited. So they dropped the first trailer, checked it out, looked pretty interesting. So I watched the first episode, thought overall, pretty solid. So I continued on and I finished binging it this morning. I binged, I think the last 2 or 3 episodes this morning, but basically it was kind of a slow burn, taking my time with it, because as I was going through it, I was seeing people online being mixed and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, I'm overall enjoying the show. And I think by the time I finish it, because there's only 10 episodes, and they call it a part 1, because I think they ordered 20 overall episodes of the show, and the first 10 are available right now as a part 1, so kind of a season 1, if you will. I feel like overall, the show got better as it progressed. And what I've noticed is that there are some big reviews on YouTube, not trying to get into any drama, but I gotta say this. There are some people that reviewed this show and said it's crap or whatever, or they didn't like it, and they only watched like the first 2 or 3 episodes. If you're going to review a show, I think you should watch the entirety of a season. Now, if you're only doing an episode review, that's different. But there are people that were reviewing the show based off 2 or 3 episodes, and there's 10 total, so I don't see how that really works. For me, the show starts off kinda trying to find its footing. It's not amazing. It's not horrible. But there are obviously parts where they could have done a better job, and some jokes weren't landing. And overall, the show, I think, just is a better experience once you finish the complete package, the first 10 that we have right now. Can the show be better? Yes, and I hope it will be within part 2 or season 2, whatever the 10 other episodes that we know are coming, because Netflix ordered 20, and we only have 10. There's parts where this show has just one-off storylines, and there's others where there are storylines following through that keep you along for the ride. And I do want to talk about the 3 main characters, Bean, Elfo, and Lucy. Now, when I saw the trailer, I instantly thought Bean looks like an interesting character, and Lucy looks like an interesting character. Elfo, I wasn't really sure. And to be honest, when they went to Elfo's backstory within the first episode, I started to like him more. Okay, and as the series has progressed with these 3 characters, I think Bean has had an interesting journey, and there's a lot of really dramatic and dark stuff that happens. I'm actually making it a little bit smaller. I'm noticing it. I'm crashing into it over here. Boom. Where Bean is an alcoholic, which is apparent from the first episode, but then you kind of see kind of her family drama with her dad, and some stuff going on with her mom, which they really get into towards the end of the season, and I won't go into any spoilers within this review, but there's a lot of dramatic stuff that they hold back that I think if they would have revealed more of these dramatic elements of the show more up front, in terms of like within the first couple episodes rather than the back half after some people might have already checked out, people might be more drawn to this show, because it's not all just them having jokes and trying to make you laugh and being weird and random. There's some actual legit stories that they actually cover that I feel that people need to see. If they were interested and they kind of dropped off after the first couple episodes, there's a reason to get back into it. Bean, I think, like I said, has an interesting journey from point A to point B, which is the beginning of the season to this end of this part 1 or season 1. Lucy, I instantly fell in love with this character. I love him to death. He is so funny. He has some really great one-liners. And Elfo, here in the green, I just said the elf, there's a very interesting story that I won't spoil, but they get into with his character towards the end of this part 1 that I really liked, that I really did. Now, I'm giving a lot of praise, and I'm talking a lot of positive stuff about the show. I also have to get into some negatives. Now, to start this off, I want to jump into another main character, is Bean's father, Zog. Now, it's not so much that I don't like his character. I feel like his character was so one note for the majority of this show, for the majority of part 1 of Disenchantment. It's really towards the end of part 1 that you see a little bit of a different side to his character, and I feel like that's an issue, because I think for this show to really succeed and for more people to latch on to these characters and really to embrace this show, a lot of the main characters cannot be one-noted. And there's a couple other characters that I'm not really going to mention in this review that are mostly one-note characters that don't really progress or don't really do anything else besides what they're set up to do within the first couple episodes. Zog, since he's more of a main character, because at first I thought, okay, he's popping up a little bit from time to time, maybe he'll just be kind of a character that's just kind of around. He's a major character in this show, and it feels like a lot of the times he's just there for one purpose, to yell and be stupid. And I feel like there has to be more to this character, and I was correct. There's more to this character, but they don't really get into it until the very end of the show, which is bad, because I was seeing online people were getting turned off by this show. Sorry, stuff falling. People started turning off to the show based off of certain characters, and I saw Zog being a couple people mentioning on Twitter and stuff that they really didn't like his character, and they felt like he was a one-note character. He didn't really do a lot for the show, and that's unfortunate. But back to the main three. The adventures these three go on are funny at times. There are some jokes that do not land, which is unfortunate, because I feel like some jokes I think are really clever, and it took me by surprise, like, oh, well, I didn't expect that at all. We'll hit the mic. And there's other times where the jokes just fall flat, and they don't seem like there was a lot of effort put into them, and I think that's an issue, because when people heard that Matt Groening, regardless, the creator of Simpsons and Futurama, he's a legend in the animation industry. He created Simpsons and Futurama, okay? That's two huge credits right there. Simpsons, of course, the biggest credit. When he is going to be creating a brand new show, a brand new IP for the first time, I think the first time in a long time, years upon years upon years, there's a certain expectation. And I feel like Disenchantment Part 1, Season 1, the first 10 episodes, could have overall been a better experience. Could have overall been a better Part 1, a better 10 episodes. But for what we got, I'm hooked. Especially the ending. I'm not going to go into it, but like I said, there are some storylines that they start to cover within the later back half of this Part 1 that I think was pretty interesting. I wasn't expecting it, and I want to see more. So, in conclusion, kind of wrapping this up because I don't want to ramble and go on forever. Disenchantment, I think, is worth a shot. Am I saying you should commit to full 10 episodes? For me, I would say yes. If you're a fan of Futurama, if you're a fan of Futurama, a fan of The Simpsons, I think you should give this a chance. And if you dropped off the show after a couple episodes, I'm not gonna beg you and say please continue and watch the show. But for me, if I would have dropped off within, say, episode 3 or 4 or maybe even 5, then I would have missed out on some pretty interesting things that makes me excited for Part 2 or Season 2. The second half of the 10 episodes that we're waiting on. Yeah, I mean, Disenchantment, I wasn't really sure what to expect based off the trailers. I mean, Fantasy World, Bean's clearly a little bit crazy. Lucy is going to be a very interesting character based off what I was seeing in trailers and things. Elfo, wasn't really sure, but I was willing to give it a chance, because Matt Groening, I'm hoping to pronounce his name correctly, is doing the show. He's running the show to be exclusive on Netflix, so Netflix obviously has high hopes for this. So I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad that I stuck through it and pushed through. And personally, I think the better episodes are towards the end of this Part 1. So I hope you guys found this review pretty good, and I hope you guys, if you haven't seen Disenchantment, if you haven't seen it, I recommend checking it out. And if you have seen Disenchantment, without spoilers, please no spoilers, because I don't want this to be a spoiler review, because if I wanted to do spoilers, I would have gotten into spoilers, but I didn't want to in this video, because I wanted to just talk about the show and just give my thoughts about how I feel like overall, it's a pretty solid experience. I can't wait for Part 2, Season 2, whatever. Overall, could have been better, but for what I got, I was happy with it. And I'm excited to see what is next for this show, because this show kind of ends on a cliffhanger. Kind of. Not going to say what it is, but yeah. So if you have seen Disenchantment, without spoilers, let me know in the comment section below, guys. What have you thought about the show? Have you gone through all 10? Are you still watching right now? What are some things that you think could be better? What are some things that you think are really good and should not be changed? If you've seen all 10 episodes, are you excited for part 2? Are you excited for the next 10 episodes? Whatever thoughts you have about Disenchantment, regardless of what it is, let me know in the comment section below, guys. And thank you guys for watching the video. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.